What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Dense Pixels E3 2018 review and reaction show. We just got done watching the Sony press event, and definitely a bit of a mixed bag, I would say, for the Sony event, because the games they showed were awesome, but the presentation, I don't know if it was the best.
No, it wasn't. Not at all. It was sloppy, and that ending was terrible.
It felt really mailed in. Yeah, one of my friends on Twitter just pointed out that they only announced like 2 new games, 2 or 3. Like as far as like things we had no idea that they were coming.
I count 1 on Brad's list here. I believe the unofficial title is some Rick and Morty bullshit.
That's exactly what that was.
That's what I wrote. That is.
But everything else we knew was coming. So, it was different. Like it felt like the two major companies had talked to each other, and they were like, okay, since our exclusives are awesome, we'll let you do all the third-party stuff, and we will take care of the stuff that we have. Is it still on?
I mean, they're still airing, and the main.
Yeah.
I think they're showing deeper looks at some of the stuff they did during the.
I know they said they were going to do like Spider-Man live gameplay or some shit. I don't know.
Don't refer to live Spider-Man gameplay as some shit.
No, I mean you're right. Spider-Man looked really good, but in the grand scheme of things, they're you know.
Well, so let's get started with the top. And they begin this presentation in a huge way. They showed Last of Us 2. They had a way too long banjo performance going on with some dude who was banjoing in a church. But they switched the gameplay. We get a nice. We haven't decided if it's a flashback or a flash forward scene with Ellie and a love interest of hers. And then all of a sudden they cut to gameplay.
It was the best moment for Pride Month ever. You get 2 girls kissing and then basically a smash cut to Ellie like caving some dude's head in.
So Ellie is the main character in this game, as we can surmise. We noted the action seems a lot faster paced than it did in the first Last of Us. I remarked at how she Rambo'd the guy by exploding a dude with an exploding arrow.
Yeah, his head kind of exploded.
His whole body exploded.
Yeah, that game is incredibly violent. It's super violent.
It really is. And then so like you had this long action sequence, and the gameplay is brutal, as you would expect from The Last of Us. And then they smash cut back to this flashback or flash forward sequence before they said goodbye. So nothing to indicate the story of this game, and nothing to suggest like a release date, but a hell of a way to start the show.
Yeah. Does watching that make you want to play that game? I'm still not. It looks great. It really does look great. It looks beautiful. I love all the violence. Huge violence guy. Big violence. Nobody likes violence more than me. But I already got Tomb Raider for my young lady killing machine. I don't know if I necessarily need 2 of them.
I'm not particularly still. I mean, because I feel like Last of Us is a game that if you like the first one, I feel like you're gonna like anything that they put out. And if the first one didn't do it for you, I'm not sure what they're gonna add to the mix that's gonna make it different. You know,
lesbians.
Well, that's
true. I've never played The Last of Us. I'm sure I can get it for like some $20 now. But that I was telling you guys, there's a lot of single player games right now, and they all have a similar aesthetic, or the gameplay is very samey. And the way that they're going to make these a little unique is to kind of put their own spin on them. Like this looked like a mix between like Horizon Zero Dawn and Tomb Raider and God of War. Like the way the camera didn't cut like God of War. It was a single shot to that entire gameplay sequence. And just the dynamic camera work that they used as the fight sequence was going on was pretty goddamn good. And the other thing is you have to have a good story if you're gonna have a single player game. Since all these games are very similar, like this made me want to play it, but I feel like I have to play the first one first.
I probably agree with that.
Yeah,
I feel like you don't necessarily.
Really?
Yeah, the way I feel like you can get a primer.
The ending.
If you know the ending
Yeah.
and you know the world that's set up, I think you're okay.
I mean,
this kind of got me interested. Most definitely got me interested in playing this game, just the way that it looked. So,
lots of variety with the. I don't remember there being that variety of weapons in the first game, aside from like
nope.
And so a good look, but then they did this very weird thing because they had everyone in like this like church, which made sense because then when they cut to the game, like it was like the same setting. Yeah. Basically, but then because I guess they shuttled everyone from this church into like an amphitheater of some kind, they had to divert away from the presentation for like 15 minutes, and it was very awkward. It was very disjointed, and I really didn't care for it. I gotta say,
it didn't work.
It didn't work, and it felt like they were. It felt very amateurish, which I don't expect to see from one of these big three companies.
It did. I mean, that's why I sort of said it felt like they mailed it in. You know, you had this great opening on Last of Us 2, which much as I'm not going to play it, it looks really good. And then you had this weird cut to this outdoor desk interview. And then we just got nothing but trailers. We didn't even have anyone expanding on what to look forward to in these games between the trailers. It was just like an hour of trailers.
And to be clear, like I don't have a problem with that because they can expand on what's in the gameplay throughout the week this week.
Sure.
Reason to go back. But that's why this segment felt so weird when they cut to an outdoor desk and they had Sid Schumann, Ryan Clements, and Sean Layden sitting there talking about like they're in the presentation. They're like, wow, this presentation's really great, guy. Like it was very like dumbly meta in a way. And I'm not really here for that. In this interview, Sean Lane, they did confirm that a new game plus mode is coming to God of War sometime soon. So we have that to look forward to. They showed a brief trailer for Black Ops 4. They also announced that as of tonight, for a limited time, Black Ops 3 is available for free through PlayStation Plus. So if you have PlayStation Plus, go ahead and grab that. They showed a quick sizzle reel that touched on some of the games that they had been showing on the PlayStation YouTube channel earlier this week, which is Tetris Effect, which is the new Tetris game that's being made by the same dude that does Lumines, whose name I cannot remember at this time. I'm sorry. They showed a little bit of Days Gone. They showed a new game called Twin Mirror, a new game called Ghost Giant, and then the fact that Beat Saber is coming to PlayStation 4 with PlayStation VR. And then they showed the story trailer for Destiny 2 Forsaken. Me and Micah were nerding out a little bit. The Awoken Prince that everyone thought was dead during the Taken King expansion. He's apparently back and breaking out of space jail with a bunch of his friends and killing Cade or shooting Cade in some way, shape, or form. So very cool look. Like so, they Bungie announced they're going for like a Western revenge style theme for this DLC, and I think that works well, and look forward to that. So next up was the game, probably one of the two games that caught our attention the most during this presentation. We talked about in the pre-show how we had no idea what Ghost of Tsushima was. Well, guess what? We now know what Ghost of Tsushima is, and I think Micah nailed it on the nose. It's an open world game in feudal Japan, which is beautiful. As we remarked, very nice windblown wheat field physics.
I mean, the standout, obviously, I mean, was the sort of like, I guess you could call it like a boss battle that we saw at the end, but like a more notable battle, a battle with a named character, and you have the red maple, the Japanese maple trees, blowing leaves all around you, and then fire starts behind you, and it's very cinematic. It's a very poignant moment in the trailer, and I'm sure in the gameplay at large as well.
It looked absolutely beautiful. And yeah, man, I don't know why this hasn't been done before. People who play people who play video games love like ancient Japan and shit like that. And I'm shocked that I can't think off the top of my head of an open world sandbox style game set in this time period. It makes sense. I thought the combat was great. I'll let Terrence expand on his thoughts about it, but yeah, man, like I'm sitting here waiting for the store to update so that I can throw my money at it because I need to play it.
That the combat, I don't know, but that final battle that they showed, it seems like there's a health bar system behind the HUD-less display. The actual combat itself, like he cut a dude's arm off, yeah. Like that was fucking awesome. Like he was just taking people out in like 2 swipes. So I don't know if that's because they're just fodder, or if that's a mechanic where if you get taken out in one, kind of like a Neo type game, but without the actual health bar, or a Souls game. But they don't show you how much health you have. You just protect your neck. You know what I'm saying? But now the combat looked cool. I'm going to pick this up because it looks amazing.
I just like how we inadvertently danced around everything that this trailer was. Mike is like, "Oh, the open world Field Japan, it is." Terrence like, "They can't possibly do vertical gameplay." Oh, they
and you're like, "Oh, they did." Okay, well,
there it is.
What the fuck? As soon as he jumped on the roof, I'm like, "Well, you can't do a fucking sucker punch game without it, right?" No, this game looks amazing. Like, again, fucking Microsoft, man. Like, and these are all single player games.
Like I said, I wish you guys could have been watching this with it, because like I said, especially like once they panned out and they showed like that very like that cinematic and artsy battlefield that this one-on-one sword fight would take place, where it's like, all right.
Yeah, they weren't fucking around. Like it's there, Again, I'm picking it up. I'll probably have a day one.
Very cool. Mark says this is why they need to remake Onimusha. Damn it. Do they now?
No.
Not anymore.
It's right here. We're good.
And he also says he liked the ability they showed in the trailer where it seems like you can mark a few enemies like in real time, like in slowed down time, to do like a quick draw attack, basically.
Yeah, it's like a breach mode, if you will.
It looked pretty cool. Like I said, again, I didn't know what to expect, and this is awesome. It looks awesome. So like I said, I look forward to seeing more from this as time goes along. A new game, one of the few new games that got announced during this presentation is a game called Control. As we were watching the trailer, we said, "Oh, look, this is what Quantum Break should have been," and turns out it's being developed by Remedy.
Sure enough.
So there you go.
It looked pretty cool. An interesting graphical style. Looks very much like a psychological horror sort of game with a lot of like wacky action, over the top stuff. So I don't know. I'm interested in seeing more of that game and what's it about.
So the next thing they showed was the other thing that we were all kind of geeking for during the presentation here. So they showed this from a rat's perspective in this like storeroom of a guy that was being attacked by an unknown assailant, and it turns out it was like a fucking zombie that's like eating his brains and shit. And then all of a sudden, from behind, door gets kicked open, and the zombie gets shot. And
it was that boy. There's that boy.
The Raccoon City Police Department patch on the shoulder, and it's Leon Kennedy.
I don't think that was Leon.
Was it?
Yeah, it's Leon.
It's Leon. Okay,
was that him?
I think that was him. It's Resident Evil 2. Like, yeah, it's Leon. which I appreciate. Like Chris has been getting a lot of run, man. And Chris is like the Gronkowski of gaming for me. Like he's just a thick-necked dullard. And like it's time for Leon to come back into the spotlight.
Well, and look, you're reading
people. I think people like Leon more than they like.
Of course, they like Leon more.
Yeah,
and like I said, you're reading in Resident Evil 2. Where does that game take place? Police department, sewers, laboratory. I don't know of any gigantic boulders that need punching. So you don't need Chris Redfield around doing his thing.
You got me there.
Well, here's the thing. That was that game you could play as two characters. Did they show any gameplay of I didn't or was I like peeking?
Well, no, you saw her. They did show Claire.
We saw her, but there wasn't much in the way as
in the second game.
I don't think we saw any gameplay, did we?
No.
It was all cinematic.
It was all cinematic in-engine stuff. But
yeah, you have to have both of them.
Did you guys really think that they were going to do a from the ground up?
No, I didn't.
For this game.
From the ground up, no. I mean, I think people have been talking about the possibility of a Resident Evil 2 remake for a while, but this is a whole new game.
Yeah. Which
is awesome.
Like, again, the two best Resident Evils are 2 and 4 for me personally.
Well, and again, they took like they did this perfectly because they showed off iconic scenes from the second game, but done in so like that liquor introduction looks 10 times more terrifying than it did in the fucking actual Resident Evil 2 game, just because of how the lighting and the length of the hallway and stuff like that. It looks phenomenal, and it's coming out January 25th.
Like a set date,
right?
How about Capcom is coming through with a remake of a classic game? Meanwhile, everybody since 1998 has been asking for a remake of the 1997 Final Fantasy VII, and you got nothing.
Yo, that game ain't never coming out, yo.
It's not.
Yeah. All right. Sorry.
I love you, Capcom.
I hope they cancel it. I hope they realize. I hope they realize that Nomura should not be directing fucking video games, that he should go back to putting too many fucking belts and zippers on Final Fantasy characters. He should not be directing video games. Look how long it's taken that motherfucker to come out with Kingdom Hearts 3. You really think the Final Fantasy 7 remake's gonna fucking happen in this century?
They outsource the development to Capcom and then the game will come out.
Yeah, maybe look. Last year, what did Capcom have going for it? Think back last year.
We thought they were on the verge of fucking death. And then
it was Street Fighter 5.
Monster Hunter comes out and sells 50 million copies, and all of a sudden they're walking around, their fucking chest puffing out.
They had Resident Evil 7.
They did have Resident Evil 7. That's fair.
That was the spark. Like that was the spark they needed. And they're like, hey, Resident Evil 7. Hey, here goes Monster Hunter for the actual consoles that people play.
And then much like a guy who rolls his ankle, but then, does a forward roll and gets up and walks like nothing happened.
Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. Right? And they're like, fuck that. And now they're coming out with Resident Evil 2.
You know what's funny? You know what's real amusing to me? Is that the remake of Resident Evil 2 is coming out before Kingdom Hearts 3 is scheduled to come out.
By 4 days, but you're right.
Right.
Yeah. That shit's so fucking funny.
Oh, man.
Here's the thing. I mean, I think, obviously it's a Sony conference, but I think, this weekend so far has gone a long way in Capcom's favor as far as like
Cry 5.
Yeah, I was going to say
I forgot
DMC 5. They announced that yesterday. So it's
game they're coming out with.
Wow, people get excited when you show that you listen to your fans.
What's the name of that game that they're coming out with? That's like the Souls. The Japanese Souls.
Is that them?
Yeah,
no, that's not Capcom.
That was From Software.
No, the other one. They have a game coming out themselves, right?
No, because Code Vein is not them either.
Code Vein is not Capcom?
No, I don't think so.
What is that? Are you sure?
I'm looking it up.
Don't Google it. Or actually, someone in the chat, you Google it. Get to work, chat. What are you doing here? We're a bunch of
Code Vein is Bandai Namco.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
There you go. So weirdly enough, the early frontrunner for E3 winners is fucking Capcom. Go to Vegas and lay some money down on that shit. The following trailer was another new game. It's called Trover Saves the Universe.
Yeah, we can skip this bullshit.
As Carrie said in our docket, I wrote some Rick and Morty bullshit because
it felt like a string of rehashed Rick and Morty jokes, and none of them were funny. It's clearly using the same voice cast. Like, that's fine if you want to do a game with that style of jokes, whatever. But wouldn't you be better served in that case by just doing a fucking Rick and Morty game?
But they did. They made one. That virtual Rickality, whatever the fuck that shit is.
It just seems stupid. I hope
Rick and Morty does seem stupid. I agree with you.
I do too.
It's not a good show.
Speaking of not good, the next trailer.
Yeah, you know what?
Now look.
No, this looks good. Fuck you, Brad.
Hang on. I gave this game a lot of shit yesterday when we talked about Microsoft. I threw a lot of shade at Kingdom Hearts 3, and in my defense, it was deserved. Yesterday, the trailer that they showed yesterday was fucking awful, which was the same trailer that Square showed today.
It was a slightly different trailer Square showed today.
Same trailer,
but it was largely 95% the same trailer Square showed today, which then of course begs the question,
why didn't they show Pirates of the Caribbean before they showed anything else for this game?
Why did they wait to show the Pirates of the Caribbean world being confirmed until the Sony conference? I have a lot of thoughts about how the Square Enix conference went today, but
we'll talk about that later this week. Keep your podcast feeds open for the best of the rest episode. But the Pirates level is the first level in Kingdom Hearts 3 that I've seen that actually looks like a PlayStation 4 game.
It really looks good. I mean, the renderings of the cast, obviously, you know, what we've seen so far from Kingdom Hearts 3 as far as the worlds that have been confirmed so far, which are Toy Story, Monsters, Inc., Frozen, Tangled. There might be another one. I haven't been paying too terribly close attention to it, but it seems like all of like the worlds of the game so far have been based on computer generated Pixar or Disney films. So like they've looked really good. They've looked really faithful to those respective source materials. But the Pirates world is a returning world because they've done Pirates of the Caribbean before, I believe in Kingdom Hearts 2. But this is the first time that like it actually looks good because boy, it looked like trash on the PlayStation 2. Just the renderings of all the characters of Jack Sparrow especially, it looks really good. And for once, like it didn't look super fucking weird for Jack Sparrow to be standing next to a literal anime character. Like they were both rendered with like equal precision.
They made them look like humans.
Yeah.
Like real people. Look, I'm happy if you're happy. If you're happy, then I'm happy because I'm gonna get real happy in a few minutes.
That's true. And then they also announced that there's a limited edition PlayStation 4 Pro that comes with all the Kingdom Hearts, apparently.
Yeah, so it comes with 1.5 remix, 2.5 remix, 2.8 final chapter prologue, and then Kingdom Hearts 3. So literally the whole story thus far, all of the games. I think there were a couple of games on 1.5 and 2.5 that are like cinematic only. So it's like you don't have to play the game, but they're still going to tell you the story of what happened in those games. So yeah, if for whatever reason you're like, maybe I want to get into Kingdom Hearts, and for whatever fucking reason I don't already have a PlayStation 4, this is an interesting bundle. I'm curious to how many of these they are actually going to sell.
And because it's Square, it'll cost $500, and it'll be the only PS4 Pro on the market that comes with a 500 gigabyte hard drive.
Do you think they will release those other Kingdom Hearts games separately?
They've already released them separately.
I mean, for PlayStation 4,
they're
already out. Literally, they're already out. It really begs the question as far as like why they're already doing this, because hardcore Kingdom Hearts fans already own all of the games
on like all systems.
On all of the systems. So like,
The man that I feel bad for is Amir, who already pre-ordered that $220 Kingdom Hearts 3 Collector's Edition on fucking Square Store, and now he's gonna have to get this.
Psycho.
Yeah, it's very question mark inducing, because I guess I'm curious as to why they wouldn't release the console on its own for Kingdom Hearts fans to get their hands on. Like, if you're getting the console, you get all of the games with it. Now, if the price is right, then what the fuck ever. But yeah, it's just sort of head tilt inducing when you really think about what that bundle entails with regards to the fan base.
So we then get to our biannual mindfuck part of the presentation. Death Stranding. We finally got gameplay, and I'm doing air quotes for those of you listening to the podcast version later, gameplay of Death Stranding, though we still have no idea what this game is, because the gameplay consisted of Norman Reedus wandering across a variety of different landscapes with a very large backpack.
And
sometimes he had a body
backpacks.
on his back.
Sometimes he had a fucking fetish body on. Like, what the fuck was?
Sometimes it wasn't Norman Reedus. But in all cases, there sure was Walken.
Look, I am 100% disinterested in this game. Like, I don't give a fuck when it comes out. I don't care about it. Like, I am so over this pretentious asshole. Like, this shit pissed me off watching this. Like, it was frustrating. And then people are gonna be like, "Yo, this nigga's a genius." I'm like, no.
And as EB Gamer reminds in the chat, there's a baby in a container that shines a light to show black ghosts.
That's racist. Kojima's a racist. I don't even know what that means.
Can we talk about how the baby was in his throat again, but this time we saw the baby's butt?
Yeah, what the fuck is wrong with him? Seriously, like, whatever. I'm done talking about it. Y'all go ahead.
It looks like there's stealth too. Shocking to no one. It's Hideo Kojima.
This game isn't going to be good, guys.
We hope.
I genuinely hope it comes out and is just blasted by the media. I hope it gets torn to shreds.
Won't be no matter.
No, it won't, because everyone wants to touch Hideo Kojima's dick. Everyone wants to touch that Japanese man's dick. I don't get it. I don't understand.
They added Leia Seydoux, formerly of Terrence's favorite James Bond movie, to the cast of this game as well. And Lindsay Wagner. Have we figured out who Lindsay Wagner is?
She was the Bionic Woman.
Okay. Gotcha. So in the chat, Gustavo says he might get a PS4 for Death Stranding.
Gustavo, what is wrong with you? Seriously, like, no, you're gonna have to type out what you thought was interesting about this game, because I don't get it. Please, for the love of God, let me know.
It was fucking creepy. Mark says he still says it's Kojima's remake of The Postman.
I don't even know what that means.
D-Man's 84 channels his inner Randy Jackson by saying, it's a no for me, dog. Amir says more weird stuff. Kojima needs a new dealer because those drugs in weird places. He's always been going to weird places. Mad Chocolate Gaming, it looks pretty meh. Johnny says she ate a baby.
Yeah, I was about to say, what was that thing that she ate? Like, was it like a
slug?
A funky fetus.
Yeah, I thought it was a fetus shield. Like, I thought it was like a.
Because this game is Norman Reedus and the funky fetus.
That should be the subtitle for the game.
That's what I'm calling it.
Fascinating.
Like, it's just, we still don't even know what that, like.
We don't. And they're going to tease it out as long as they possibly can. I missed with my prediction of 2019, by the way.
Gustavo says
there was no date.
Gustavo says he wants to play it just to find out what is going on. Don't do that.
Don't get a PlayStation 4 just to find out what a game is gonna be. Yo, please don't do that. Get it for Spider-Man. Yeah.
Well,
we're almost there.
Surprisingly announced Neo 2.
Yeah, that is. Neo came out like last year, didn't it?
Yeah.
Like the beginning of last year.
Yes, February.
So, yeah.
It was a really quick trailer, though. To be fair,
Oh no, it's not.
I thought it was like DLC. That's why I knew it was Neo, but I'm like, hey, it must be new DLC. No, it's a new game. Okay.
So we ended the night abruptly, but we ended it with Spider-Man. Micah, take it away. Take it away, Micah.
Yo, Spider-Man looks amazing, yo. Like everything about that action sequence, like that whole snippet that they clipped out was wonderful. I mean, he's in the raft, and you know, the raft is like their Arkham Asylum, basically, right? And Electro's there, and he's got his funky new jacket, and all of a sudden you see more of Spider-Man's classic villains come out, you know, and what was it? Scorpion, Vulture, Shocker, Rhino, and then eventually Mr. Negative comes in. Wraith was there. She this was before she becomes Wraith, but the way that and you have to chase Electro in this scene, and the way that it was very fast paced, and it felt like you could miss some of the debris that you need to web onto in order to chase Electro. Like it felt like there was an opportunity where you could miss and fail. Like if that's possible, like that just gets me going, right? Because you know you got to be able to think on your feet, and everything about it. The voice acting was good. Like Spider-Man doesn't have an annoying voice. Like you have no idea how upset I was when one of those Spider-Man games come out. It was the one where he could switch from his regular suit to the black suit with the press of like L3 or R3, and his voice sounded like this, and I was just like, I can't play this game. It looked great, and I was watching. They had a little bit of the gameplay sequence on a few minutes ago. Yo, the combat looks frenetic and all over the place. It looks spastic. It looks like you could do a lot of things on the fly. Like if you know the environment you're in, it looks like you can, like, you know how Batman had the free flowing combat. Like it looks the same, but for Spider-Man with Spider-Man's like gadgets and shit. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, but it was done in a way where you can like hide and go instantly into predator mode, and it. I mean, I just really need September to hurry up and come in. Like, I'm not going to buy Destiny Forsaken just yet because it comes out 3 days before Spider-Man, and I'm not gonna touch it. I'm not gonna touch anything. Probably not even my wife when September 7th comes along.
Speaking of touching stuff, if we go to the chat, Mark says, I'm pretty sure Spidey made Micah turgid.
Yes, it did. You don't know where my right hand is right now.
Boy, if you don't. I do.
All you guys watching us live.
I do want to pause real quick because I do have still the Sony sort of like ongoing stream live in a separate window here. They've put up the Tuesday schedule, which basically includes everything we saw today. Last of Us Part 2. I'm just reading this in order. Ghost of Tsushima, Dreams, Spyro Reignited Trilogy, Days Gone. 1:15 p.m. tomorrow, though I believe that is in Pacific time. It just says Square Enix title.
No.
So that could be any number of things. I hope it's not Final Fantasy VII, but we will see more of Spider-Man tomorrow. We'll see Concrete Genie, Kingdom Hearts 3, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Hitman 2, Death Stranding, Resident Evil 2, Trover Saves the Universe, Neo 2, Anthem, Days Gone, Scuff, Vantage Controller Unboxing, Just Cause 4, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and Call of Duty Black Ops 3. So obviously plenty to look forward to tomorrow. And potentially, obviously, there's shit going on all week. We could see any number of things.
Mad Chocolate Gaming talking about Spider-Man. He said it was so good he needs to take a shower.
Yeah.
Johnny says Mike is gibberish. Sums up my excitement.
Hey,
Gustavo's calling Spider-Man Game of the Year already.
I don't think so.
I do think so.
Nah.
Yeah.
Mad Chocolate.
What is it? What is it? What's
Game of the year for what else is coming out this year?
Skyrim, very special.
That game
edition.
of the year? Sea of Thieves.
Monster Hunter is
Is it going to be God of War?
still pretty good.
Oh,
Yeah.
Shit.
Breath of the Wild
yeah.
again.
Yeah, God of War. It's gonna be between God of War, probably some weird shit that we haven't played that's on PC or whatever.
Mario Tennis Aces.
I was about to say Super Smash Bros.
I feel like Monster Hunter is gonna be up there. I don't know why.
Conversation.
But I feel like it will be.
Mad Chocolate Gaming also says he's going to platinum it and pull in a mirror and get the $500 Mega Collector's Edition.
There you go.
So
Whatever boats your float, dude.
boats your float. So let's ask the same question that I asked of you guys yesterday. So give me. I don't think I mean I think it's very clear what each of us liked the most out of this presentation. What do you think Sony's biggest missed opportunity was here? And then also give me a letter grade for the presentation. I'll start with you, Carrie.
Missed opportunity. I don't know. I felt it was a missed opportunity to have a fucking better show. Like, if the past several years of Sony press conferences were like regular Coca-Cola, this felt like the new Coke of Sony press conferences. It was a lot of things we already knew about. I guess my favorite moment of the show is probably like the Ghost of Tsushima stuff. I don't necessarily know that I'm going to play that. It's not really my style of game, but it's a game that I feel like I would enjoy watching somebody else play for an extended period of time. But overall, it generally felt really mailed in. I'm giving this like a solid C+.
Terrence.
The show itself was whack. Like it was just weak. But the gameplay, the game reveals. Look, I know, like Spider-Man looks awesome. Ghost of Tsushima?
Yes.
Looks amazing. But I think my best moment, or their missed opportunity, like you said, was just making it a better presentation. That whole we're in the church and then we're going to show the church scene in Last of Us 2. That kind of set the tone for just like, I don't know. It was just very bad. Then them going to but overall, like it showed a lot of games that I want to play, and that's all that I ask out of these types of presentations. Resident Evil 2 was my highlight. Like it just like all the other games look awesome, but I can't wait for that Resident Evil 2 remake. I'd probably give it like a B-, C. Because the presentation itself was just whack. So it gets a C. And Sean Layton's teeth are just bothersome.
They're bad.
Yeah.
That dude needs a dentist.
He's got the money. Like, come on, bro.
Right.
Micah,
But
tell us
C.
why this deserves an A.
No, I'm not. It does not deserve an A.
I thought Spider-Man was going to come.
No. Look, I'm a fanboy and all, but I'm at the point where I'm old, man. I'm old. I can't give you nothing that you don't earn. And biggest missed opportunity. Look, with these press conferences, I like when a developer comes out and talks about their game, and nobody did that
at all.
right. And I think that is the biggest missed opportunity, and nobody did that. Like, at least with the Microsoft conference, you had Rod Ferguson come out and talk about Gears. You had the Bethesda conference. Good Lord, Todd Howard was out there for half a fucking hour talking about.
They let Todd Howard say "fuck." I was shocked. He was
by
lewd.
the way, I'm gonna need everybody to calm down with the profanity.
There were many fuck words said
Yeah,
in the last couple of days.
you know.
Yeah, Ubisoft allowed themselves a single fuck earlier today.
I'm gonna need you people to calm down. Like, all right, fuck Nazis. That's the only one you can say.
Right.
All right? That's it. Like, you're getting a little too comfortable. Video game developers, you're getting a little too comfortable. Don't forget, you're a bunch of nerds, rock stars. You can't just be dropping f-bombs all casually. Yeah, I really wish that some of these people actually came out and spoke about their game. In terms of disseminating information, you get kind of, you knock a point off there. I enjoyed the games that I saw. They didn't show a lot, but I guess it's quality over quantity.
Yeah, that's what I enjoyed. Like,
yeah,
it showed shit that I want to play.
Yeah, like I was super ecstatic for. I knew I was going to be excited for Spider-Man, so that's just canceled, right? Like that cancels itself out. Ghost of Tsushima, I think, really took me. I was very pleased by that, and Resident Evil 2. I was shocked. I was shocked that it's an actual remake and not like some ported up re-release. Let's just leave the same tank control. Well, we don't know, but yeah. Death Stranding. Look, I'm too through with that guy. All that is pretentious to me. And the presentation itself was awkward. It was very awkward and very amateurish and not very. It was very different, and I didn't like it. I didn't like it was not because it was different, but because it wasn't done well.
Yeah, we had those like interludes between trailers featuring shit out of the game Dreams. So we had like a banana with a guitar and a screaming piece of celery.
Yeah, that was like
there was no cohesiveness. There was no point to it.
Yeah. Honestly, that's probably the best way they could present Dreams to you, because I think for them to go on stage and explain what that game is would be an exercise in futility.
I don't know, man.
So,
I would give this a C also. Like I thought it was on par with, but it was on par, but like on a different plane as to the Microsoft conference. Whereas the Microsoft conference came out and was just like games in a easily digestible format. Sony came out and was like, yo, look at this big ass game. All right, now cut to commercial and then go to these people. And then
cut to a white dude dressed as a Japanese guy playing a flute.
Right, cut to Jack playing a flute wearing a Raiden hat. And then it's like, all right, well, this looks good. And then it felt weird.
Well, that kind of leads. This did seem like the anti-Microsoft conference.
The complete opposite.
Yeah, I mean, so I think the game that caught me most by surprise, of course, Ghost of Tsushima, because Resident Evil 2 also was out of control.
I'm getting both of those games. Like I'm just getting them. Like,
little brief bit that they showed. I think the biggest missed opportunity. I talked to it. So like, and they even had the perfect time to do it, because if you're going to talk about the enhancements that you're going to make to services, you could have done it while Sean Layden was sitting at that desk outside while you were moving everyone from the church to the amphitheater. You know what I mean?
I was hoping they were going to say something about the services.
It would be nice.
They didn't say anything.
And instead, it just ended up being kind of like them circle jerking for 5 minutes while they transitioned.
Sure, what it was. That's very much what it felt like.
Any second now, we're gonna. Any second, yeah,
right.
okay.
Like if I'm Sean,
there we go.
And like I know I'm gonna be sitting here for 10 minutes talking to these guys. Like, here's what we got coming to PlayStation Plus. Here's what we're doing with PlayStation Now. Like, that's the time you could have done that, and it would have made the whole presentation feel a hell of a lot less awkward.
It was almost as if he was like caught off guard. It just like it felt
like they did an audible. Like, oh,
yeah, shit. Just like I don't know. It was just weird.
But the strength, as awkward as the presentation was, the strength of the games that they showed, and especially the games they took a long look at, definitely outweigh it. If I have to assign it a letter grade, I would probably give it a B.
You're really generous.
You gave Microsoft a B minus.
I did, and I'm struggling to think of what I should put. I like this style of conference better, where you do take a extended look at the games as opposed to Microsoft's method of just like trailer,
rapid fire,
trailer. So that's why I give it a slightly better grade, and it would have been higher if it wasn't for the fact that the presentation itself was so out of control. In the chat, Johnny says it needs less vagrants / performers. I think we can all agree with that. Gustavo says more exclusives that we can get excited for in 3 years. Amir says he thinks they delivered on the games, but the presentation sucked. Yep, and in fairness, they did tell us what to expect. That is true. Malcolm says it was meh. He just got in late. Sorry. Said the chemistry. Mark said the chemistry was off. I think that's a good way to put it. That's a good way to say that. Malcolm also said RE2 looked amazing. Apparently, I think the RE2 pre-order is up in the PlayStation Store. Amir says as well.
Good luck.
So they ain't pre-ordering the shit now. Like, it ain't coming out for 7 months.
So, any final thoughts, guys, before we wrap this up?
I think, I guess I was a little shocked by how mediocre and middle of the road, and very expected all of this was today. I mean, besides the Resident Evil 2 announcement, which again was something that had been rumored for a long time. There wasn't anything that I was like blown away by really in the grand scheme of things, in terms of like announcements. Looking forward to Nintendo tomorrow, because I think of the 3 console publishers, Nintendo at this point could very possibly be the one with the most up their sleeve, as far as E3 this year.
Yeah, I think the one area that Sony did succeed in this year, and that they usually do very well in, is that they do have people walking away that are going to be talking about, you know, specific things from this conference. I don't think you had that with Microsoft yesterday. I didn't walk away from the Microsoft. I mean, we were talking about Cyberpunk. That's probably the closest thing, and that was just a trailer.
Yeah.
But I think that people are going to be walking away like really buzzing about Ghost of Tsushima and about that Resident Evil 2 remake.
I don't remember what they showed last night.
That illustrates my point perfectly.
I really don't. Like, they had Gears 5 and Cyberpunk 2077 or whatever it's called. That's it. That's all I remember.
Well,
Halo Infinite or whatever the fuck it's called.
I don't even remember that. I remember the Warthog was driving through a field. That's what I remember about Halo Infinite. And they played the Halo music, I guess.
That's just sad, really.
Yeah, it is what it is. So that's going to be it for us. Thank you guys, those of you that joined us live. Really appreciate it. Thanks for hanging out in the chat with us. Again, if you're going to be paying attention to E3 this week, we have a lot of content coming to you. We did post-show analysis for Microsoft last night that you can find on YouTube or on podcast services anywhere. Tomorrow, we plan on recording one more live episode where we will break down the Nintendo Direct. That is scheduled for 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, tentatively. If we have to move it back, we will let you know. And then later on this week, you will also get separate podcasts for the best of the rest, where we're going to talk about EA, Ubisoft, Bethesda, and Square's events. And then later on this week, perhaps another wrap-up to catch all the little odds and ends that happened throughout the entire week as a whole. So again, thank you guys very much for watching. We will see you tomorrow night to talk about Nintendo. Until then, peace.
Thanks.